Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. I am Neil. I'm the director here at Buckswood Overseas Summer School. I would like to start today by showing you a very short video to introduce our school. So this video is 1.5 minutes, and I hope it will give you an understanding of how our school looks, what our students get up to, and our philosophies.
It was my first time in England, in a foreign country, and I was on my own.
Sometimes it takes a couple of days for kids to settle.
The first time away from their parents, they're in this new environment.
But after 2 or 3 days, they've made a couple of friends, and after 2, they've made a couple more. It's adorable, and it's just so rewarding.
It's a very diverse place. We've got kids from all over the world, and they each bring their own personality to it.
We create this environment where they're speaking English all the time. They're completely immersed in it.
One thing that's really important is expression. They're learning so that they can go out into the world and have conversations with people.
Just see people blossom, you know, it's quite heartwarming.
When people come to me, I'm not afraid to speak to them. I always try to express myself as a person. It makes me feel much more open.
It's our philosophy to broaden people's minds.
Kind of absorb all the differences in culture and stuff like that. So yeah, that enriches you as a person.
We get a lot of people coming back year after year because they just have such a good time here.
It's a very big part of my life. I count down days until I come back here. English really gives you a lot of opportunities. You can travel all around the world without any problems.
It's just real life, genuine fun.
Okay, now I'm going to switch to another screen where I have my presentation. Let me get rid of this video. Excuse me 1 second, please. My presentation is standing by, and it is here. Okay, so I want to share this screen. Here we go. So, as I'm sure you are aware, our school is called Buckswood Overseas Summer School. We are part of Buckswood School, and we operate when Buckswood School have their holidays in Easter and in summer. At the bottom, you can see some logos there. We are accredited by the British Council. We are members of English UK and Young Learners English UK. We are an EL Gazette Centre of Excellence. On 2 occasions, we've been nominated by our partners for a Star Award from Study Travel magazine. We've never won, but just being nominated is an honour. And finally, we are a Trinity College London exam centre, and this is the exam which all students will take on their last day with us. When students or parents even, sorry, my screen isn't changing. Oh, we have a new person in the waiting room. I'd just like to explain our ethos. So we have a lot of people when I have meetings with parents, with partners, with kids, and I say, why would you like to come to England? Why would you like to come to BOSS? They say, to learn English. But of course, in my opinion, being the director of BOSS now for 11 years and working in summer schools previous to that, I see with my own eyes on the ground every day that students get a lot more out of summer schools than just learning English. So this summer we thought about our ethos, and we wrote, at BOSS, we believe that people will remember adventures they went on, not the stuff that was bought for them. People outgrow stuff, but they will never outgrow adventures. And time spent at BOSS is certainly an adventure that is designed to get the most out of our students, both socially and academically. So of course, when students come to us, they're learning English. But in addition to this, and I think some of the things I'm about to list now are probably more important than learning English. When with us, our students will become more independent. They're away from their parents. They have to rely on themselves. Of course, we are there 100% of the time to support them, but they have things throughout the day they have to do themselves, keeping their rooms tidy, for example, being on time. We want our students to grow in confidence. I've got some wonderful stories of students who came in the past who wouldn't say hello to anybody. They were very shy, who 2 weeks later are on the stage dancing alone, becoming everybody's hero. Broaden their minds. How often can you say you eat dinner, you eat lunch with people from 50, 60 different countries? It's an opportunity to learn so much about other cultures, about the world. Embrace internationalism. As I just said, right now in the world, it's very important to live alongside other people, to walk alongside other people, to understand other people. We have another person entering. Improve social skills. So I've thought about this from many different angles. Of course, our students are all there together. However, quite often I will find myself sat on a bench, or another member of staff will be sat on a bench, just having a conversation with a student who might be 8 years old, might be 12 years old, 17 years old. So we hope that coming to summer school gives our students the motivation, the opportunity to grow in confidence in terms of socializing as well, to speaking to different people. Improve their teamwork skills, something I'll explain later. Our whole course is based around teamwork and working together. Learning the value of hard work. Again, this is something that comes in with teamwork. Our house system, house points, you'll see in a moment. To be open-minded, we do some activities where we have had students say, I don't want to do that. But we say, give it a try. You might enjoy it. You never know. In the end, of course, they do. And finally, to stay curious. It's something I always am in my life, to question things, to learn new things. Excuse me one moment. I'm not like you, Philippa. It's just a bit of a dry throat. So stay curious, to be open-minded, to wonder about the world, to not assume what somebody tells you is correct, and to say, that's interesting. I want to learn more about this. Next slide. We are running 2 courses in 2023. Our spring course is 3 weeks long, running from the 26th of March to the 15th of April. And our summer school, 7 weeks long, running from the 2nd of July to the 19th of August. The courses basically are the same. The only obvious difference is the spring course is a lot quieter. So in summer, we might have 200 students per week. Spring, every year is completely different. We've had 30 students per week on some courses. Other years we've had 150. So it's always different in terms of student numbers and the weather, of course. Otherwise, the whole program is the same. The quality of teaching, the excursions, the activities are all the same. Arrival days are on Sunday, departure days are Saturday, and the minimum stay is 2 weeks. I wanted to give you some stats. So it's hard to give you stats. People have been asking me a lot lately, how many students will you have from, we have somebody else in the waiting room now as well. People have asked me a lot lately, how many students will you have from France this year, from Spain this year, from Germany, from China, from Mexico? I don't know. I really don't know. So what I've done is I have put together some stats based on the last 10 years of BOSS. So what you can see now is a general kind of, a general idea. The only change I've seen in the last couple of years following the pandemic is the age range has actually increased. So while our oldest student will still be 17, our average age is now between 14 and 15, whereas it was always 14, 13. The only reason why I can think this could have happened is because of the lack of services, unaccompanied minor services offered by airlines now. British Airways don't offer it anymore, so it's more difficult now for the younger students to actually travel to BOSS without an adult. Excuse me again. I'm going to mute it this time. Sorry about that. Male, females, always about right. It's not something that we actually monitor. We don't say, whoa, we've got too many boys, we've got too many girls. It's just a case of luck, chance, but always it's about 50-50, as you can see. And finally, the nationality mix on average for the last 10 years. This is the last 10 years. So as you can see, second place there, we have China. China, at the moment, the market unfortunately does not exist. You can see there we have some countries which we're not going to see students from for a good while. Russia, for example, they seem to have dropped off. I wonder why. Italy, I'm quite surprised by this one to see Italy in first place, because over the years, I don't envisage Italians as being the most dominant nationality in any summer, to be honest. However, as you can see there, the maximum percentage is just under 14%, and we don't accept more than 20% of students who speak the same language. Each week is different. So again, people ask me which nationality is the most popular, and the answer to that question is we don't really have a most popular nationality. It's different every week. The first week, second week, it could be France. Historically, it's France. But after the second week of summer school, French students drop off and literally are non-existent for the next 5 weeks. Spanish might be in week 3, week 4, it could be Spanish again. As we progress towards the end of summer, we have more students from Germany, more students coming from the Middle East this summer, from Kuwait, from Dubai, from Kazakhstan, from Uzbekistan. So every week we've got Japan there. Japan was once the most popular nationality in weeks 5 and 6. So it's just pure chance. But as I said, we do not accept more than 20% of students who speak the same language. Moving on. So where are we? If you don't know where we are in the southeast of England. This map represents that. We are in a county called Sussex. Our nearest town is Hastings. And if you haven't been to Hastings, it's a seaside town. It's got a more modern area, but my favorite area is the old town. It's a very beautiful town. It's quirky, it's medieval, it has a castle, it's got hills on either side, so you can get beautiful views. However, when you head north for 8 kilometers, all of the town will disappear. Literally everything will disappear, and you will find yourself in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. And the only thing you'll find in the middle of this countryside is our campus. It's a very beautiful place. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. The nearest airport is Gatwick. Heathrow is also, I would say, a convenient airport. It's only about 20 minutes, half an hour more than Gatwick. In this map here, you can see some places we will visit. You can see London, we take the students there. Brighton, Canterbury, you can't see on the map, but it is there somewhere. Windsor, Thorpe Park. So this area of the country is where our students will explore when they are with us. So I told you about our campus. Please excuse me if it stutters a little. I noticed when the video was playing before, it was a bit slow. But this is our campus. See from this video, that it's a very, very beautiful place. Summer schools previously, which are in city centre, because when you are in a city centre, there's McDonald's, there's sports nowhere, which means they cannot do that. They cannot. With us, they are very focused on what they are doing. They are very present, their activities. And additionally, as you can see, we've got all of this in the summer when the weather is nice. I spend a lot of time sitting on the front field. That's my office quite a lot in the summer. When the weather is nice, there's no better place to be. This is where they will study. This is where they will eat. This is where they will socialize. This campus is literally their home for the duration of their stay with us. Okay, now this is our campus from a different angle. And as you can see, there are 6 circles around 6 of our houses, 3 for the boys and 3 for the girls. And these houses are organized firstly according to age. So the age groups are 8 to 11, 12 to 14, and 15 to 17. And we then look at the students' nationality, the language they speak, and we will arrange the rooms according to this. So we never want anybody to be sharing a room with somebody who speaks the same language, not only because of English, so they have to speak English to each other, but also because of what I mentioned earlier, the open-mindedness, the internationalism, the social skills, the independence side of things. We want our students to learn not only about British culture while they are with us, in a room with another person from a different country gives them the opportunity to do this naturally. As I mentioned earlier, teamwork is very important in our school and the value of hard work. And each of these houses is a team. So everything that the students do will be for their house. They will be awarded points for competitions, which is usually during our activity program. They will be awarded points in class for being helpful. Every morning starts with room inspection. So at 8 o'clock, I will run around all of the houses and all of the rooms to check they are tidy. And that might be the only reason you are thinking for room inspections, but also every day it gives me the opportunity to see the students first thing in the morning and say, how are you? Are you okay? They'll say yes, or they'll say, They never say, no, I'm not okay. But I can understand from their expression, from their energy, if they need to, if they need help. And if so, normally I will catch up with them at breakfast, which is after room inspections. The house system helps us to keep the school very organized. It breaks down the whole population of the school into smaller groups, so it's easier to manage and we can provide a better service. Each house has a house tutor or 2 house tutors, depending on the size of the house. And that person is the go-to person for the students. If they come to me, Neil, I haven't got my pocket money. have you seen your house tutor? Because house tutors are responsible for this. But of course, students can speak to any member of staff at any time of the day. We are responsible all the time for their well-being, for their safety, and it's something we take very seriously. So a typical day, students wake up 7:45, 8 o'clock room inspections, as I just mentioned. I once wrote a very interesting blog, in my opinion, about room inspections. I will follow up this meeting with a link to this blog, as well as a few other things for your information. Breakfast is at 8:15. 9 o'clock, we have assembly. Assembly was born out of students saying, I didn't know this, I didn't know this, I didn't know this. So now we physically have them in front of us every morning and say, today we are doing this. Assembly is 30 minutes. All staff are present, all students are present. It's me delivering information about which house was the best in the morning, giving them house points, activity information, where they should be, what time, what to wear. We finish assembly with a team game from which they can win house points. 9:30, students will go to class. We have 20 hours of English per week. When students arrive, they will do 2 tests. One is reading and writing, the other is listening and speaking. This will help us to know their English level, and classes are arranged according to this, as well as their age and their language spoken. As I said before, all students will take the Trinity College exam on their last day. This is a minimum stay of 2 weeks to prepare for this exam. And this gives our teachers good focus within our curriculum. And of course, it gives our students an outcome to their course. They're not just learning how to say red, blue, green, yellow. They are preparing for this exam, which is an internationally recognized exam, which will also give them some exam experience. Students are very nervous before their exam, but after their exam, you can see them walking a bit taller, excited for the rest of the day. Lunch. So as I mentioned earlier, in the dining room, we have 40 to 50 nationalities per meal. And as I'm sure you can imagine, each country has its own cuisine. So our menu is quite diverse in terms of what we offer. We try to keep everybody happy. It's quite an international menu. But of course, we can't keep everybody happy. What I mean by that is we can't provide a national cuisine for every student from every country. But as somebody who has eaten every meal in summer school, as well as our staff, we can say the food is good, despite what the kids may say. After lunch, students go back to class. We have project classes, and this is project-based learning. It's more of an activity than a sit down and study class, where students will be using their practical skills, their creative skills to create a presentation which they will show to their schoolmates, to the staff on Friday afternoons. And these projects include the Boss Film Festival, where students will make their own film, Battle of the Bands, where each class will form bands. If students can play an instrument, they are at the front. If they can't play an instrument, if they can't sing, if they can't dance, within the project, we have band managers, the marketing team, they design posters, they put posters up around school to advertise the Battle of the Bands, why their band is the best. They have to also do a pitch to say our band is the best because this, that. They have to explain why their album looks like this, why they got their name, things like this. I've put Movie Week again there, please excuse me. That is the Boss Film Festival. And Dragon's Den is an activity where students must create their own business. They must invent something, they must build it, and they must present it to the dragons on Friday. And the dragons will say, I want to invest in this, or I do not want to invest. But again, it's something for them to use their creativity, their practicality, and practice public speaking, because all projects finish with a presentation in which they have to speak in front of, well, I'm not even exaggerating, 250 people. After classes, we have activities. I have the activity program ready for next summer. I can send this to you in the email I will follow up with. But generally, our activities are 2 sessions in the afternoon. Session 1 is something which connects to the evening activity. This could be a fashion show. Students will design their own costumes. In the evening, we have a catwalk. The bottom middle picture, you can see 2 boys with cardboard around their neck. This is the Boss Grand Prix. So in the afternoon, they will build a car. In the evening, they will race it. The only time we encourage students to be together with students from their own country is international night. So they will spend time with students from their own country to put together a presentation to explain to everybody in the evening what their country is all about, traditions, customs, any dances, sing the national anthem, food, music, so that we can all learn about each other's cultures. The second session is something we called clubs, and this is where we open all facilities around our campus. That could be football, swimming, watching a movie, board games. Excuse me one more time. Sorry about team cough. We have art and crafts, drama, dance. As I said earlier, the front field, it's very beautiful. So we encourage students to spend some time in nature. Sometimes we go off into the forest. We walk in the countryside. It's very nice. When we don't have activities, we have excursions. I said our school is in the middle of nowhere and the students are not tempted to go anywhere, but 4 days per week, we will leave school. Tuesday afternoon, we have a half-day trip in the area around our school. We have many historical places, castles, very interesting towns and villages. Wednesday, we spend the whole day in London. Whether a student comes for 2 weeks or 7 weeks, every week is different when we visit London. Saturday alternates between a trip to Hastings, which is just 15 minutes away, or a trip to the forest the following week for nature activities. And on Sunday, we will visit other cities in the southeast of England, as mentioned earlier, Windsor, Canterbury, Thorpe Park. When we go on these trips, we always take them somewhere like London, might include the London Eye if they've never been on the walking tour, might include the Tower of London, British Museum, National Gallery, as well as all of the most famous places. Windsor, go to Windsor Castle, Canterbury to the cathedral. So we're always taking them on organised excursions to see different places. In the evening, 7 o'clock dinner, 8 o'clock activities. And those activities, as mentioned, could be connected to the afternoon activity, or on a Friday, quite simply, a disco or a campfire. So those kids who don't want to go to this loud room and dance, they can go and chill next to the campfire. Saturday night is always barbecue and movie night. Sunday night is always welcome assembly. We have new students arriving Sunday, so this is an activity to welcome them. The students who were there the week before will help to explain the rules, to get the atmosphere going, to make them feel motivated about their house. We play games, but generally they are competition based, apart from that Friday and Saturday activity, which are more relaxed because it's the end of the week. Hot chocolate time at 9:30 in the courtyard. It's the middle of our school. It is half an hour just to socialize, to round up the day before students. Excuse me, somebody is in the waiting room. Before students go to their house. So at 10 o'clock, they have a house meeting. This meeting is an opportunity, again, for the students to communicate with our staff, but also for our staff to communicate with the students. And during this meeting, we ask questions like, how are your lessons today? How was the food? How are the activities? How are the excursions? Is there something you want to do that you haven't done yet? So we can try and keep on top of the students' wants and needs and help them if they have a problem. We always try to solve this first thing in the morning. So if they tell us during house time, during the house meeting, that will be fixed first thing in the morning. Likewise, we encourage our students to speak to us as often as possible. What we don't want them to do is to go, hi mom, hi dad, listen, it's very hot in my room. Then you call the agent calls me, and it's a big chain of communication when really I can help them instantly. At 10:30, good night. This is a general time. We have younger students, of course. They often go to bed earlier, but around 10:30 is the end of the day. This is a sample week. There's a lot of information for you to take in there. So again, as mentioned before, I will send this to you in an email afterwards. And to wrap up, all staff receive extensive training. So before summer school even starts, we get the staff together, all of the team, a lot of who are returners. We have a 3-day induction. All staff will be first aid trained. All staff receive training in safeguarding. The general day-to-day working in a summer school, you name it, we train it. Teaching, activities, excursions, what to do in an emergency. All staff receive a lot of training. And in addition to this, we recruit staff who are qualified and experienced. As I said, a lot of our staff are returners already. For next summer, we have 16 teachers in total. We already have 10 teachers who have worked at BOSS before. And the house staff, we need 8, and we already have 6 who've worked at BOSS before. And the management team, which is me, the director of studies, the academic, the activity manager are all returners as well. We are 15 minutes from a doctor. Parents always want to know the answer to this question. We are 15 minutes from a hospital. Just to go back a couple, actually, staff receive extensive training. This also includes dealing with any students who may come to the office and say, I have a headache, I have a sore throat, I've twisted my ankle. So very, very rarely do we actually go to a doctor, do we actually go to the hospital. We never want to go to the hospital, but very rarely do we ever actually visit the doctor or the hospital. And I hope I'm not cursing things by saying this. We can cater for all dietary requirements, be that gluten allergies, vegans, halal food, you name it, we can do it. Mobile phone usage is strictly monitored. So Monday is completely a no phone day. The students will give us their phones in the morning. They don't get them back until the evening. Mobile phone, no phone day is difficult more from a parent's point of view, I think, than a student's point of view. The students are fine. They're having a great time. The amount of calls and emails I receive from parents, I'm trying to contact my son or my daughter. I can't get them. Are they okay? Yes, they are. I have a box in my office with 200 phones constantly vibrating throughout the day. And finally, please trust us. We've been doing this now for 10 years, well, 11 years it's going to be. And we have experienced a lot during this time. I don't want to curse things again by saying I think we've possibly experienced just about everything there is to experience within a young learner school. We have the experience, we have the training, we know what to do, and we wouldn't in any circumstances run a school if we were not going to take it seriously. We take it very seriously, and we ask please for your trust. Here is a QR code which links to our Instagram. This is something I like to share with people. You can find lots of videos, lots of photos on here. So if you have a second now, please scan it. If you don't have a second, I'll put it in the follow-up email. And we have reached the time for any questions. If you have a question, I think it might be best. There's not too many people here actually, so feel free to put on your microphone, your camera, ask the question. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can put it in the chat and I will be happy to answer. Additionally, I will be happy to do a follow-up meeting. So that could just be a one-to-one. I'll put the link in the email so we can sort that out as well, so we can talk more should you wish. Hello, everybody. The presentation has finished. Any questions? If there's no questions, I will call it a day. I'll hang around, but please feel free to leave. If you have a question, stay on the line and I will be here waiting.